Well, hey, let me tell you a story. So a few weeks ago, I was having a rough week. I've had a rough, I was having a rough month at that time. Things have actually started to take a turn for the better here as of late, but I was having a rough season. And we all have rough seasons. We all have struggles and difficulties that we go through. I'm not trying to say mine was worse than yours or better than yours, but I was going through some struggles, and you probably have been there either recently or sometime in your life where you just had one of those weeks. And that's where I was. I was having one of those weeks. I was questioning like my whole job, right? My whole purpose, my whole life. And I was questioning why am I doing what I'm doing? Should I even be doing what I'm doing? And then I was like, I couldn't do anything else. This is the only thing I'm good at, or at least I think I'm good at. And then I started asking questions like, why do people even come to church? And why would they even want to come to church? And what are we even doing here? Just kind of all those things, right? External things, internal things. I was just going through it. And so I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come in this room, our worship center, and I'm just going to walk the rows. And I'm going to pray for the people that will come and sit in one of these chairs at some point. I used to do that back in the day, and so I thought maybe I'll do that. That'll adjust my attitude. So I come in here, I start walking, I get to like the second row, and I was still just struggling with all the other things. I felt weird, like I couldn't pray anymore for that. I just kept coming back to praying like, God, what are we doing? Why are we doing? How should we be doing? What should change? And so I was just dealing with all that. And so I just laid down on these rows, right? I just flat out laid down the rows, and I'm just praying to God, and I'm struggling. And at one point, actually, Brendan walked in. Brendan comes into the room, and he comes in. He's like, what's going on? I was just telling him, man, I'm just struggling today. And so he tried to be nice as Brendan is. He's like giving me all these reasons why we're doing good and why I'm doing good, and tried to help me. And I just kept saying, yeah, whatever. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to let you do what you do. So he left, and about 2 seconds later, I'm sat back down. And I said, no, I'm not done praying. And so I got back down to God, and I was like, God, I need to know, like, I need to know what we're supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to be doing, and that this is like we're doing the right thing and going in the right direction, and everything's good. And it was crazy. I got this text, and in this text, it was from someone that rarely texts me, right? And this person, she said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I heard this song today. I thought of you, and I don't know why, but I just felt like maybe you needed to hear it. And so that was it. And then they sent me the link to the text, and the song's called Be Alright, and it's two reasons why it's super cool. One, it's part Spanish and part English, and I just love songs about Jesus, but I specifically love songs about Jesus when there's Spanish in it. Even though I don't know Spanish, I just think it's really pretty. And so I start listening to the song, and it says things like this: everything will be all right. God's got your whole world in his hands. Everything's going to be okay because God's got the whole world in his hands. And I just laid back down with this giant like smile on my face to God and was like, all right, I hear you, like essentially in that moment. And this doesn't happen every time I'm struggling and going through stuff. So I don't expect it to happen every single time that you're dealing with something. But in that moment, I was just really wrestling with what is going on, and why is life hard, and why is my job hard, and why are things just hard right now? I was dealing with that. In that exact moment, God spoke through a song, and just to say, hey, I got you. It's all good. It's gonna be okay. I got not just the whole world in my hands. I got your world in my hands. And so there's this verse in Psalm 95, because we're in a Word on a Wednesday, even if you didn't know it, where we share a word of encouragement from God's word. And Psalm 95 says, "For the Lord is a great God, a great King above all gods. Listen, he holds in his hands the depths of the earth and the mightiest mountains. The seas belong to him, for he made them. His hands formed the dry land too. Come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our God, for he is our God. We are his people he watches over, the flock under his care." He has the whole world in his hands, and we are his people, the flock that he watches over. And not only does that psalm remind me that God sees me, knows what I'm going through, cares about me, and has got my back, but that song does as well, that everything's gonna be all right. Like, I know that it doesn't feel all right now, but it's going to be all right. I know that you can't see that it's going to be okay, but it's going to be okay. I know that you don't feel necessarily like I'm right there with you, but I want you to know something. I have the whole world and your world in my hands. I just thought the unique way they said that, we've heard the songs, he's got the whole world in his hand, he got the whole, you probably heard that. But the way this song says, he's got your whole world in his hands. And that just hit me in a powerful way, where God was just reminding me, came down, just tapped me on my shoulder, says, hey, I got you. So I just want to share that with anyone out there. Maybe you're struggling right now. Maybe you're not on the backside of that. You're still down in the valley. I feel like I'm coming out of that season. I'm feeling good. And maybe you're still in that season of struggle. I want you to know something. God has got your whole world in his hands. And I promise you, everything's going to be all right. It might not turn out the way you want. It might not be perfect. It might not feel good in the moment, but God has a way of working all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So God's got you, and everything's going to be all right because he's got your world in his hands. I hope that encourages you. It truly encouraged me, and I appreciate you taking a moment to listen. All right, see ya.